Happy to be here. Tough series this weekend. We supposed to have Grambling today. We got rained out. I'm trying to make it up tomorrow, but expect it to rain tomorrow also. But a good series coming up with a very good Milwaukee, Wisconsin team. I think they beat Pittsburgh, and two other teams. They were in a tournament this weekend, so we're trying to get the scouting report and get prepared for them.
Coach, talk about your series with Boston College. How do you think your team did?
Well, the first day we played well up until the seventh inning. I think every game pretty much came down to one inning. To be honest with you, the relief pitching or a mistake in the infield, that was kind of the telltale of the games. But for a team of that caliber, believe it or not, their pitching was some of the best pitching we're gonna face the entire year. Believe it or not, Milwaukee this weekend is gonna have some similar pitching, so it's gonna be a challenge. But I thought the kids performed well. It's amazing. 92 on Friday, 94 game 2 on Saturday, 93 on Sunday. It was pretty impressive.
Coming into the season, when we interviewed you during the postseason interview, defense was one of the things you stressed, and defense wasn't necessarily an issue, but what was a bigger issue were the errors they were making on defense. Y'all ended up with 8 total.
That is defense.
So, I guess what I'm wondering is, what are your thoughts on the mistakes they were making?
Well, that's why you have to play the games. You got to play the games. The pace of the play changes. Your opponent dictates a lot of stuff that goes on. The pace of the play changes. We're trying to figure that. If you notice, it was a lot of different guys out there in some spots. We're trying to figure some things out because we don't play a ton of games during the fall. So we have to get guys out there, and that's why we tried to play on Sunday, because you got to play the games. That's why if you're referring back to the preseason interview, I said it's going to take about 20 games for to figure everything out what we have, and that's typically any team. But I'll tell you one thing, when you can pitch, you can avoid some of the situations that come up in the game, because if a guy makes an error and you can pitch yourself out of a situation, the error then is not as big. But right now you make a mistake and we're not pitching out of it. So, but like I say, that's a tough opponent and we need to play. So these games, the rain out today, hopefully we get a chance to play tomorrow. But if not, we have 4 games this weekend, and then 4 games on the weekend is not a typical series. That's extending your team a lot. You think about a team comes with almost 40 players and we have 31. It's a totally different animal.
Coach, playing against Boston College, what did you learn from your team? What did you like? I know the games were closer to the later innings. What were some of the things that you liked from your team?
Well, it was a lot of positives. That we got out of the game. The pace. We're known to play at pace. Our guys kind of push the pace of the game, try to speed it up. If you'd have told me coming into the weekend that we would have only struck out 8 times competing against that kind of pitching, I would have said, that would never happen. But it was amazing that they shortened up and moved some balls there, and then never giving in. If you notice, we scored most of our runs late, and that means that the kids had to battle through a lot of at-bats to get to that point. So it's a growing process now. It's 22 new players out there. It's not like we got the same group we had from last year. So it's going to take some time for guys to gel and guys kind of get used to playing with one another. Boston College is a really good team. You got to give them a lot of credit. But like Wesley Reyes came out and he played. He had an outstanding weekend. Especially under the circumstances. But we need to clean some things up and get a little better.
What are some of your biggest things that you're thinking about going into the next 4-game series?
Well, clean the defense up. It's one thing like in baseball, with the freebies, the walks, the errors, the instead of allowing the team 3 outs an inning, you end up having to get 5, 6, 4 outs an inning. It makes it tough on a team. That's the difference at the end of the game. And if you get that guy out of the inning clean the first couple innings, now on the back end of the game, he probably stays in a little longer because early on he didn't have to throw those extra pitches. You understand what I'm saying? So that error, now we got to get a 4th out. A walk, now it's another additional base runner. Now it's a 5th out. So it makes it a little tough. Guys get confused. This game, every game is pretty much the same. if you look at it in this perspective, you always are playing against the ball. I've been saying this for years. It doesn't make a difference who on the other side of the ball. If you catch the ball, you throw the ball, you hit the ball, your opponent doesn't matter. And to convince young people that that's all it's about, sometimes that's the tough part of being a coach. And managing the failure. They fail so much. You know, you think about going in that game, you have 2 bad at-bats, and then your third at-bat, you're telling them, yeah, you got to make some adjustments to do some things. And in the back of his mind, I've already got out twice, you know what I mean? So managing the failure is tough. That's the tough part. And people the average fan don't realize that. That's the tough. You make an error, then you got to come up and get a hit. You know, you got to be able to separate and compartmentalize some of those things.
Coach, you have a guy on your team. He's a mass comm student. Want to know a little bit about him, Tyler Culpepper. Talk about him a little bit.
Tyler, this is Tyler's senior year. I think he graduates either May or this coming Christmas. Now, Tyler's a good guy. I think he's from Memphis. His dad comes to all the games. I'm sure. I don't see how y'all missed him. He's in the stands all the time. But now Tyler's a good guy. Tyler's a really good guy. He's gonna play short and second for us a little bit. Probably bad, you know, top of the lineup a little bit sometimes. But we're expecting a lot. You know, we got a lot of moving parts. That's why, you know, we had some guys. Actually, Tyler Jones played right field, but he can play third base, and we're trying to figure out that puzzle at third base a little bit. So no, but Tyler's gonna do a good job for us.
What are your thoughts on your pitching so far?
Well, when we get everybody to the point that, you know, when you're playing 4 games a weekend, you extend some guys. Some guys that wouldn't be in certain roles have to pitch in certain roles. So once we get past this, but we need to play. So it's a catch-22 when it comes to scheduling as many games as you can, because unlike most other teams, we start conference play in basically in another week. You know, for most teams, I think we have to bye the first week. But we're going to have to get better there fast. Middle relief. Brandon did a really good job. He came in and got some outs in that first game. We have a guy, Josh Schwartz. He hadn't thrown. So we're still kind of working through that. And that's going to be, you know, that's going to be a big deal coming up. How well they do is going to be a direct correlation between how much success we have.
What's your message to your team right now? Sometimes, you know, when you start off tough like this, it can affect their confidence. But what do you say to them, you know, to make them realize there's still a lot left to be played?
No, they play more baseball. It's 56. You know, it's a lot of games left. These kids play baseball year round. It's not 3 games. It's 2 ways to lose a game. It's to lose a game and get beat down, or lose a game and learn some things. You know. So and everything's a learning process at this point. Now, we've been very fortunate to win a lot of games. You know, early, late, middle, but that's all a process of being a good team. Are we going to be the same team next week that we are now? No, it doesn't work that way. You know, that's why we play so many games. One series, one game doesn't dictate what kind of team. It's not like football that's the team you got. If they can't block, they ain't gonna block next week either, because, you know, that doesn't work that way. So these guys, it's a constant series of adjustments, and the more games they play, the better they're gonna get.